vitamin E and vitamin C and calcium. And so I started to use vitamin products. And back at that time, you know, I used the ones you could buy on a 1-cent sale. And I have since learned that you get what you pay for. Because companies who sell you products for 1 penny, buy one bottle and buy another one for 1 cent, are still in business to make money. And they are making money with products that do not have quality. And I tried for 2 years in studying nutrition books to find a product that had the balance of nature. I never found that. In fact, as I read nutrition books, I came up with confusion. Someone says, me too. I remember Dr. Shackley used to tell us many years ago, I wish you people would stop reading nutrition books. As an example, most nutrition books will tell you you should never use vitamin E with iron because one would cancel out the other. And that's true when it's out of the balance of nature. But God put vitamin E and iron together in food, and they work together and are necessary in food to build health. So it wasn't until 2 years later that a friend of mine in church introduced me to my first Shackley product, and that was Shackley Herblax. And I'll give you more information on that later. After I used that product, I felt better. And it's amazing that one little product that is classified as a laxative made such a difference in my life when from the time I was a young infant, I had to use laxatives. And I remember in Anchorage, Alaska, one day I bought a bottle of tablets and it said Herblax on it. And then 2 years later, here I am buying a bottle of Herblax, only they were entirely different as far as the ingredients was concerned, and of course it was from a different company. But this product worked, and that fascinated me. And so I went to a Shackley meeting, and I was so excited because I wanted to use more of their products. And the thing that I found there was the person from California who was sharing Shackley said this. He said Dr. Shackley had spent over a half a century in the field of nutrition trying to find the right foods that when they were put together they were in balance with nature and they would feed the body and people would have good results. And that's what I'm here to talk about tonight, because that product had the balance of nature that I did not find in all the education I had in reading nutrition books and hearing nutritionists speak. Something that I read early in my Shackley life was a comment about a doctor from Dr. G. Roy Lockwood, who was a minister, author, student of nutrition. He traveled in many foreign countries, and he stated with proper consumption of the right nutrients going into the body, with proper assimilation of that nutrition and proper elimination of that which the body is through using, our body has the ability to change the chemistry of the blood in 7 days, change the composition of cells in 7 weeks, change some major organs in 7 months, and as science knows, our body can actually rebuild itself over a 7-year period. Physiological chemists state that there is not a blood cell more than 14 days old, and that if we will eat properly, feed the body, that we actually can rebuild the heart in a 30-day period, that the heart has the ability to rebuild itself over a 30-day period. Now that's interesting, because I'm sure you have over the years heard people who have been on a nutrition program give testimonies of how they feel better or how the problems they used to have are there no longer. Well, the reason is because of that I just shared with you, that our own body has the ability to heal. There is no healing apart from what nature will allow. And it depends on what we put inside. You know, I am 56 years old now, and I feel as good and even better than I did as a teenager because I don't have to use any drugs anymore. And I have 8 healthy grandchildren. And it's wonderful to have them in my home. I don't mind taking care of them. And yet I know of mothers who are much younger than I who could not handle having 3 or 5 children in their home every Sunday for dinner. But that's what good health can do for you. I decided to really share Shackley because Shackley began to give the results in my body that I wanted. I knew that God had put me on earth for a reason. And you know, the most important thing in our life is to know that we have eternal life through Christ. But you know what? One of the next important things in life is to have the health in order that you can be a blessing to yourself and your fellow man. And inside, I had a tremendous conviction that when we started to use Shaklee, that my boys, as pre-teenagers, were not allowed out of our home without having their glass of protein, which I'll be talking about, and their handful of supplements. Because you see, up until that point in my life, I didn't understand the nutritional benefit of building health. Before that, I was treating my symptom with medication to cover up my problems. Or as I've seen in my immediate family, my parents, who had a lot of health sickness in their home, all I ever saw them do was change their problems in the color of the medication, until finally we introduced them to Shaklee nutritional supplements and they started to build health. So I found that the choice, as far as health was concerned, the choice was up to me and to what I do with my body, and the choice is up to you. And we all have that choice. It's interesting that Thomas Edison, many years ago, stated that the doctor of the future will give no medicine but will interest his patient in the care of the human frame in diet and in the cause and prevention of disease. And I'd like to share with you about a company that we have been affiliated with now for over 19 years, and I am very grateful to be here tonight to share with you. But Shaklee is a major American corporation, and I think it's important for you to understand where Shaklee is coming from, because there are a lot of companies out there who don't have a good backing. Shaklee has been on the market for a long time, but Shaklee represents products in harmony with nature and good health. Shaklee is the American authority in the field of nutrition. Shaklee is the world's largest producer of nutritional products. Shaklee was founded on the philosophy of the Golden Rule. It is a Fortune 500 corporation, a small business tax shelter for people who desire to use it as a business, and I consider it to be a personal improvement course, because before Shaklee I wouldn't have the opportunity to be in front of people as you people are here tonight, and that's just part of loving and believing and knowing what you're talking about and being able to share it. It is the business opportunity for today, and the reason is because people are sick of being sick, and we have the products to share with them to help them enjoy better health. As a major American corporation, we can look back to the beginning, and it was in 1915 when Dr. Forrest Shaklee formulated Vitalized Minerals, or today's Vital Lee, this product here. Vital Lee is a multiple vitamin supplement. And you know that in 1915, when that product was made, there were no known vitamin products on the market. And in fact, in 1915, that was 7 years before the word vitamin appeared in Webster's dictionary. In other words, before science knew vitamins existed, we had Shaklee food supplements. In fact, every vitamin product on the market today, whether it's in a health food store, a supermarket, a drugstore, or people selling on a direct selling basis, or perhaps prescribed by a doctor or a chiropractor, all of those products have come into existence since Shaklee products. We are the leader. In 1956, Dr. Shaklee and his two sons founded what was called the Shaklee Products Company. And it was at this time he decided that the best way to share what I'm going to share with you tonight is on an individual basis through the direct selling method. And that is why Shaklee is in direct sales. If our products here sat on the shelf alongside of other products, people would not understand our product and would look at it the same as any other product. And yet, because it was sold on direct sales, it's one of the largest food supplement companies today and the leader in the nutrition industry. Today, as a Fortune 500 company, we are listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and it is a top company in the healthcare industry. It is an international corporation in the United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, and West Germany, and Australia. And Shackley was the consultant to the United States ski team. And what they did was Dr. Scala, who has taken Dr. Shackley's place, developed a diet and controlled plan of supplementation that helped the team to do their best in Olympic competition. And of course, that was the year we really took gold medals in the Olympics. And in 1983, Shackley helped the American climbers reach the summit on Mount Everest while maintaining their weight, strength, and energy, something which had never before been achieved. And in 1986, when Jeannie Yeager and Dick Rattan started training to fly their so-called paper airplane around the world, they needed to know how to be healthy. And who did they go to for nutrition consulting? But Shackley. And so Dr. Scala and his team of researchers worked with Gina and Dick and others and helped them to know how to have health for the 10 days that they were in that little small compartment in that airplane. They used Shackley supplements, including Vital E, Shackley Slim Plan, energy bars, and meal shakes. And Shackley meal shakes and the energy bars are being sold, I believe, at the Institute in Washington. Smithsonian Institute, thank you. So we're really proud of Shackley. Shackley is the leader of the $2.3 billion vitamin market. That sounds like an awful lot of money, doesn't it? But things have changed over the years. I mean, when I got into Shackley, if you wanted to go to a health food store, you were so embarrassed you'd almost have to put a paper bag over your head, you know. Today, everyone is aware of vitamins, good, bad, or indifferent, you see. It's a big market today. Shackley spends $6 million in research each year to ensure that each product begins with a solid scientific rationale. The Norman, Oklahoma manufacturing facility is the state-of-the-art in nutritional products production and allows Shackley to meet the exacting production standards. And this is very important. Researchers select and test every aspect of each Shackley product and as many as 262 separate tests on products. This is perhaps the top important part of Shackley is research. And the reason is because many vitamin companies do not spend money or do not do research on their products. Shackley does, and in fact, isn't it interesting that we still use the same products after 19 years and we still get as good or better results than we did 19 years ago? You see, if the nutrition is not in our product, I wouldn't get the result, and neither would you. And that's why research is so very important. They have to make sure that the nutritional value is in each product. Shackley has more than 60 Shackley scientists and a scientific advisory board of leading researchers who keep informed about the latest studies in human nutrition. And the reason why Shackley is unique is because it really is concentrated food in a tablet form, organically grown. We use no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. Shackley provides a scientific proof of effectiveness through clinical studies. And the need for supplementation from 1900 till now has changed. And I think you'll find some of this information very helpful because a lot of people, particularly older people today, just cannot understand why you need to use a supplement in their diet when they have lived so long. Dr. Shackley used to say, you know, while I'm here, I'm going to live. I'm not going to walk around half dead. And you know, there are many people on the street today that are living, but they are existing really because they are taking so many drugs. And you can't blame them because pain hurts. And you want to cover up the pain and have some relief. And so the only thing most people know to do is to, of course, use drugs. But our food is different than it used to be. You know, in 1940, 10% of our food was processed. In 1960, 60% of the American diet was processed. And I'm not quite sure of the exact percentage today, but I'm sure it's far above 60%. Years ago, I heard on the radio a report that the FDA gave that said there are actual so-called foods that people purchase every day from the supermarket that have absolutely no nutritional value, that are totally synthetically made out of synthetic substances. And most vitamin products on the market are made out of petroleum, are petroleum-based products. Our environment is different. There are 1 million tons of pollutants in the air now. Now, isn't it true that upon creation, God gave us pure air, pure food, and pure water? How about today? What's happened? You know, today we live in a society breathing polluted air, eating polluted food, and drinking polluted water. And then we wonder why we are one of the richest nations in the world, but we are the poorest fed nutritionally. That is sad. And it's not going to get any better. Our lifestyles are different. Many meals are now eaten away from home. 40% of the budget is spent eating out. Studies indicate we eat too much fat, sugar, and salt. It's interesting concerning this comment here about the diet of having too much fat, sugar, and salt, that Dr. James Anderson from the University of Kentucky produced a diabetic in 6 weeks on a high-fat diet, and it took 6 months on a high-sugar diet. Our health is different. Nearly 4 out of 5 people in the United States have some sort of disease or dis-ease in the body. Most people, as we look at this chart, are in what we call the neutral zone. That's where I was before I understood the need for supplementation in order to build health. But if you are here today and you're in the neutral zone, I trust that I can challenge you of one thing, and that is to become aware of some of the things that I'm talking about. And as we become aware of building health through nutrition, then we're going to be conscious of our diet, that perhaps we could eat less meat and more fruits and vegetables and things like that, make a better choice, and add some food supplementation. And when you start to feel better, you're going to have more energy, so therefore you should exercise more. And that should help to control your weight. And of course, rest is also a part of a healthy body, is to have proper rest. So after you become aware, you start the rebuilding process through the things that I just mentioned. And you know what will happen? The resistance in your own body will start to build up, and you're on the road to optimum health. But now, the person who thinks that everything I'm talking about tonight is not necessary, it is ridiculous, let me tell you what's happening in our society. First of all, they'll start to complain. And so they go to the doctor, and they receive medication, or they go to the drugstore. They continue to be ill, or they change their problems, and that illness eventually could go into disease. And whether you believe it or not, there are people who really put themselves in the grave ahead of God's appointed time. And in 19 years, I've worked with people that I believe would be here on this earth today had they not disobeyed nature. You know, there are laws of nature that if we break that law of nature, we do suffer the consequence, don't we? I mean, if I fall from a 10-story building, God will not cause gravity to stop to prevent me from falling. I will simply fall, and I will suffer the consequence. And the law of health is the same. The unfortunate thing is that in the United States today, people are not taught that it is very simple to be healthy if we simply change some of our living habits and our eating habits. and we could enjoy health. And to me, it's the second greatest gift on this earth, is to enjoy health. I love to be healthy. I love to ride my bicycle. I played racquetball last year. I never played it before in my life. And I consider that quite a challenge at my age, but I feel good. I don't have aches and pains anymore, and it's not natural to have a headache. In 1900, infectious diseases killed us, and now it is degenerative disease that are taking the many lives of Americans today. How do you feel today? No pep? Overweight? Underweight? Split fingernails? Dull, thin hair? Need stimulants like caffeine to keep going? I know a lot of people like that. Do you have headaches? Constipation? Bleeding gums? I would brush my teeth and my gums would bleed all the time. I didn't realize it was a nutritional deficiency, particularly of vitamin C. I used to take a lot of aspirin. Do you know anyone who takes aspirin today? Know anyone who has poor digestion, or who can't wake up in the morning? And people who can't fall asleep, or people who have dry skin or leg cramps or sinus drip. Or maybe you have a great desire for sweet foods. Taste good. Bad breath, subject to colds and infections, nervous or depressed, need alkalizers, various aches and pains, having the vague blah feeling. Do you require tranquilizers to sleep at night? And maybe some even use pep pills. And that's a question you can ask to everyone that you meet. And most of the time, they would be able to apply themselves to several of these comments on this page. But we can say to them, how would you like to feel? And that's what I'd like to say to you tonight. How would you like to feel? You don't have to feel tired. And I want to introduce you to Shaklee nutritional products and help you to understand the difference between other products. And our first product, as I mentioned, was Vital E. And Vital E is a multiple mineral vitamin supplement. Vital E balances the body chemistry. That's very important. Now, perhaps you're using other vitamin products today, and most people are, and that's good. I'm only here to share with you the difference between other products. But perhaps the product that you have, you could compare to Shaklee, and I wonder if you could answer yes to 6 critical questions about the product you're using. And number 1 would be, are all 19 essential nutrients listed with the RDAs represented? Number 2, are all 8 members of the B complex present? Number 3, are biotin and folic acid present at 100% of the US RDA or more? Number 4, are all 8 members of the B complex present at approximately 100% of the RDA and in a 1-to-1 ratio to each other? Number 5, are copper and zinc present at approximately 100% of the RDA and in a 1-to-1 ratio to each other? And 6, are calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus present in a near 1-to-1-to-1 ratio based on the RDA percentage? Is calcium present with at least 50% of the US RDA? If the product you're using is not, and there isn't any product that is except Shaklee, then you are not getting the balance of nutrition that the body needs in order to build health and to balance the body chemistry. 2 tablets daily per person supplies the MDR, or minimum daily requirement, for you or for your body to start the activating of cells. And then we also have a chewable Vital E, which is a wonderful product for children or for adults who prefer chewing their tablet. But I want to share with you the difference between Shaklee Vital E and other products. First of all, known to science today are 3 types of vitamin: a synthetic vitamin, an extract vitamin, and Vital Life, which is what I'm talking about here in Shaklee. And let me explain. First of all, a synthetic vitamin is a drug, period. So if people use synthetic vitamins, or if you use synthetic vitamins, you are using drugs. A synthetic vitamin is made in a test tube out of inorganic substances It has no enzyme or no life to it. Let me explain the life factor there. It's like storing potatoes in your cellar, perhaps, for the winter. And in the spring, they'll have all these little sprouts on them. And you go out and you stir up your dirt in your garden, and you cut this potato apart, and you plant it. In a few days or weeks, you're going to see a little shoot come up through the earth. That's representing life begets life. But now, say that those same potatoes, I decided to take to the kitchen and boil them. And then I cut them apart and I took them out in the garden to grow. Would they grow? No, because the heat process has just destroyed the life. So that is the difference between live food. Even we as women destroy a lot of nutrition through the cooking process. But a test tube vitamin then has no life to it. It has no enzyme. It does act as a stimulant to the body. And don't misunderstand me, because in situations where we're fighting life and death because of accidents, it's a good thing that our medical industry has synthetic vitamins, because sometimes they have to inject them in the body to maintain life until the body can take over. So they act as a stimulant or a spark to your body. But continued use of them, you will have a side effect. That's a known fact. The simple aspirin will have a side effect at one time or another in your body, because a synthetic vitamin is a drug. It's not natural. The body can't handle it. It becomes cumulative over a period of time to your cells. Then in science, we know about an extracted nutrient, or companies who isolate through the heat and using different chemicals process. They will isolate out of plant life certain nutrients, put it into usable form, and classify it as perhaps a high-potency multiple vitamin supplement. And what you're getting is a part of nature. So you have perhaps a product that maybe started with good organic raw material, or it could be from cheap food sources, but they start from a better source than making it completely synthetic. They use chemicals and heat for extraction. You have very weak enzymes. Now, it has a little more life than that synthetic vitamin, but they have to use fillers, and most of the fillers are synthetic substances and harsh binders in that product so that you have a capsule or a tablet form. You then have an imbalanced product that again works as a stimulant to the body, but it can never feed the cell. And in fact, using that type of vitamin can accumulate in your body, and that's why a lot of people say you can get too much vitamin A, you can get too much vitamin B12, or you can get too much of certain nutrients. And that's why, because they're not giving it to you as God made the apple. When we eat a tossed salad, we do not analyze the nutrition in that tossed salad before we eat it. Why? Because we trust the Creator. When the lettuce grows, we just assume that there is balanced nutrition in there, so when we eat it, it doesn't bother us. An apple is the same way, or a banana. We don't question it. Do you know that science only understands 60% of nutrition today? In other words, they can analyze a banana for you, and through heat and chemicals, they can come up with a chemical analysis and supposedly tell you what's in the banana. But I have never seen a chemist make a banana, because you can't do it, you see? There are a lot of nutritional elements, about 40%, that man has not isolated and named. Vitamin C was unheard of until they did these studies with the men that went to sea many years ago, and they had scurvy. And it was at that time, when they found they gave them oranges or citrus, that scurvy seemed to disappear. And it was at that time that they named vitamin C. And so actually, vitalized minerals back in 1915 had no name, because science didn't even know what vitamin C was. And as science has discovered nutrients, they appear on the Shaklee label. And in 19 years, we have seen nutritional percentages appear on here, but they were always in our product. And that's exciting, because this product worked 19 years ago in my body, and it worked in 1915 in Dr. Shaklee's body. Now, that's exciting. I used to say, I don't care what Dr. Shackley puts in our product. All I know is it works. And if he used mud in it and it worked, I would use it. And that's a fact. I've said that many times because we knew Dr. Shackley, and I'll share more at the end about him. But let me go on. Vital Life, then, is what I'm talking about in Shackley. We have products that are made from quality raw materials or food, organic substances. They use what is called a low-heat, low-pressure process. I believe it's referred to as a lyophilization process, where you have a strong enzyme action. We use no fillers or harsh binders. You have nature's balance plus the potency, and it does feed and strengthen the cell, and that's why people get results. And the other exciting thing is that we've been all over the country sharing Shackley and in many foreign countries, and we send a lot of Shackley products to friends of ours who are American missionaries in foreign countries. And it's beautiful to see that they get the same results, and it may take 4 to 6 months for them to get the product. But they get the same good results as we do right here. And that's exciting. We all use the same products. The age doesn't matter. Our children use the same products we do. And you don't have to worry about, well, should I use this product or should I use that product? You could use them all, and they will all be of benefit. 2 a day at least, that's a minimum, and we cannot live on the minimum daily requirement. People who are trying to rebuild health or just restore tissue that's dead or cells that are dying perhaps need more than 2 a day. And many people do use more than 2 a day. 2 of the Vital E products, of the multiple vitamin supplement. Then we have protein. Now, protein is a companion to Vital E, and the reason is because protein builds our cells. 95% of your body and mind is protein. You cannot live without protein and build health. It's impossible. 95% is protein, excluding the water and fat in the body. In our society today, people do not understand the difference between the sources of protein that we use. And in America, we are meat eaters. And I want to explain to you the difference between meat protein, which is classified as a high protein, and vegetable protein, which is a soybean balanced protein. When you eat meat, you have high cholesterol, high fat, and high uric acid. It is a source of protein that is very hard to digest in the body. It is quite expensive, but it is classified as a high protein. When you eat vegetable proteins, you have no cholesterol and no fat. Those are 2 good reasons why vegetables are better for us than meat. You have very little uric acid. It is very easy to digest. It is very inexpensive, but yet it is a completely balanced protein. And I don't know about you, but I know when I do not consume a lot of meat and I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, I feel better. And I would challenge you even to do that in your diet, and it's amazing. I want to give you just an example of what happens when you eat meat. Let's say we go to one of the best restaurants in town, and we have prime rib or steak and all the goodies that go with prime rib and steak. And most of us will overeat. I know I would. If you pay several dollars for a good meal, you're going to make sure that you eat a lot of it. I admire the person who doesn't, but anyway, you're going to enjoy that meal, but you're going to eat too much, generally speaking, and you're going to be very full. Well, someone will have to pay your bill. And the next time you go to a restaurant, if you haven't already taken notice, I would like to challenge you to see if they sell Tums for the Tummy or antacid tablets at the counter in the restaurants. Most of them do. Now, why do they do that? Are they saying their food is bad? Oh, no. But they know that most Americans will have difficulty digesting the food they just ate, so they have antacid tablets available for your purchase. Say you go back. Well, first of all, you'll go home and you're going to be full for several hours, particularly with eating beef. You go to that same restaurant the next week and eat everything exactly the same, except that you will substitute the beef for fish or seafood. You will still overeat, and someone will pay the bill, and you will go home. But isn't it true, in an hour or so, you don't have that stuffed feeling anymore? Why? Because the source of protein is able to digest itself much easier. In other words, if you eat chicken or turkey, it will take 2 or 3 hours for your body to digest it or to break it down. If you eat beef, it will take 6 or 7 hours to digest. And if you eat pork, it will take 11 hours or more. But if you eat fish or seafood, you will find in an hour or 2 hours, you don't have that stuff feeling. That's just a simple illustration of how to prove what I'm talking about tonight in relationship to the types of food we eat. We are what we eat, believe it or not. Shaklee protein is very low in fat. Now, fat is necessary in a certain amount, but not a lot of fat. So Shaklee, as a vegetable protein, is very low in fat. It has no cholesterol. It comes from a vegetable source. It is biologically complete. And this word here, biologically, is one of the key words as far as your health is concerned. And the reason is because it may not necessarily be what you put in your mouth. The difference may be whether the body can make use of it or not. And if your body cannot make use of that food and cannot feed the cell, then it's harmful for you. In fact, I say that when we sit down to eat, we either eat food that's good for us or we eat poison. It's hard to say because I enjoy food too. But isn't it true today? I think of, people will question Shaklee food supplements and the labels, but they will think nothing of going to the supermarket and buying soft drink that has warnings on it, could be cancer causing. People who smoke, it's all over now. It's a health issue. And yet they will think nothing of continuing to do those things, but they will suffer the consequence. And when I eat, I don't depend on my health from the food that I eat in my kitchen. Now, we try to eat a better choice of food, but my health comes from what I'll be talking about tonight. I can build health and feel better just by living on these. And as Dr. Shaklee used to tell us, if you were isolated on an island somewhere and just had your Shaklee protein and Vital E and ate leaves for bulk, you could actually build health. Isn't that exciting? Because the body has the ability to do that if you put the right things inside. So the biological activity of nutrition, or what you put in the body, is very, very important. Protein is the most essential nutrient for proper growth and development of all of our body cells and tissues. It is ranked, Shaklee Instant Protein is ranked by the FDA as the #1 best quality protein in the United States today. These two products balance out your body. Protein will give you energy. You use 3 tablespoons per day. 3 tablespoons a day, or 1 ounce, is what you need if you are 4 years old or older. And that's a minimum amount, and that will only give you 35% of the amount of protein that your body needs per day. So this is not all the protein you need. But it's exciting. You can use Shaklee Instant Protein in the vanilla flavor or the cocoa bean flavor and use 1 ounce a day or 3 tablespoons, and then the other food that you eat will actually be more beneficial. Now, this does not taste like a milkshake. We have a taste factor in the United States, and people say, oh, if it doesn't taste good, I don't want it. Well, unfortunately, most things that are good for us do not taste all that good. There's nothing wrong with the taste of Shaklee Instant Protein. I use mine in water. In fact, I enjoy it more and more. I have used it in grapefruit juice, apple juice, orange juice. Some people enjoy using it in milk. Others like to sprinkle it dry on cereal. And if you can't get it in your body that way, then take a cup of protein and a cup of granola and a cup of peanut butter and 3/4 cup of honey, and mix it together. And you can roll it in coconut if you wish, and put it in the refrigerator and eat them as snack foods. And they're absolutely delicious. I said, when we were introduced to Shaklee 19 years ago, my boys did not dare go out of the house without protein. You know why? Because I loved them and I cared. I know parents today who will not give a child something that they don't like the taste of. But I'll tell you what, I was so under conviction about it that I remember one day our boys missed the school bus because Dennis did not drink his glass of protein. And I took them to school that day. I never had to take them again. And I never had a problem with them. Today, they're all married, they have children, and it's a real thrill for them to make their own children use Shaklee food supplements and protein. We just sent our one son and his wife and 3 children off to Costa Rica to do language work for 6 months, and from there they go to Peru for 4 years. We packed 4 years' supply of Shaklee protein and supplements in their crate. And it was quite a bill. It may take a year for them to get it, but they know that if they have nothing else to eat and they have this, they can build their health. You know, it's a privilege to stand here and tell you and many other people that we have yet to spend 1 cent on a medical doctor for sickness in 19 years. Now, when our sons went to college, you know, they would become injured playing soccer and so forth. And that's a different category. But I'm talking about health. And so when people say to me it's expensive, I don't think so. Because it's an investment in our life, plus we've enjoyed the benefit of health, and we don't know how many unhappy hours we've saved by not being sick. And I know one time our oldest son, Dan, who works in the business with us, back probably when he is about 25 years old, he said to me, Mom, he said, you know, how do other guys live? You know, they don't have protein. And I said, well, actually, Dan, they're existing, and they're walking around and probably taking drugs. And our sons do not remember what it was to be sick. But I'm thankful. You know, that's the greatest gift we could have ever given our sons, and they have carried it on to our lovely daughter-in-laws and our 8 healthy grandchildren. It's a privilege to stand here and tell you as a grandparent that I have enjoyed seeing most of my 8 grandchildren raised, been close to them. And I remember telling my daughter-in-law one day when their first child was only a year old, and I said, you know, Charity, you will never understand what it is to sit up at night and rock a sick baby. And she said, no, I don't. She said, and all the girls in my Bible study that I go to, all they talk about are all the problems with their kids. And I said, you don't know. You'll never understand, but you should be so grateful because those kids have enjoyed health, and it's wonderful. Now, they are normal children. I remember when Sarah, at the age of 3, went on a Shaklee trip with us down near Atlantic City. We had our motor home, and it was now Grandma's turn to say to Sarah, are you going to swallow these tablets, or do you want Grandma to put them down your throat? And she looked at me with a tear, and she said, Grandma, put them down my throat. And we literally have done that. And we don't give them a choice. And sometimes, you know, it's a 45-minute session. Even today, our youngest grandchild is 3.5, and the oldest is going on 9. But it's wonderful that even though they don't like it, their parents insist they have it. It's the best thing you can ever do for yourself or for your family. Protein and Vitally are an absolute must. I don't care how you use it. It does absolutely nothing in the can, you know. You've got to get it out of the can and inside of the body. And then the third product is Herblax. And remember back when I started talking, I mentioned about the consumption of food, of the right nutrients, and the assimilation and the elimination. Okay, now we're going to talk about elimination, or the way the body builds or eliminates waste. And it's a product called Herblax. It is classified as a colon cleanser and a detoxifier, or classified really as a laxative. Most people are using some type of laxative in their diet at one time or another. So usually it's an expense that people are already incurring. Laxatives are used to help or aid the body to excrete that food which it's through using, to carry out debris and so forth. Unfortunately, most laxatives on the market simply excrete fluid from your system, and a continual use of laxative can actually cause a person to dehydrate. And I know I used laxatives all my life until I heard of Shackley, and I don't consider Herblax as a laxative because herbs are foods. Herbs were used by the medical profession for years in the treatment of disease. Shackley Herblax consists of 9 herbs, and it's one of the first Shackley products that came onto the market that Dr. Shackley introduced, and people have been using it all over the country for 25 years. Now, each of the herbs in Shackley Herblax you could purchase in the health food store at a much more expensive price. But now you can get all 9 herbs in just 1 tablet. People all through, in all societies in foreign countries, believe in herbs and have found much benefit from them. Now, Shackley Herblax will promote a normal bowel movement with no gripe or grasping or seizing of the intestinal pain and no burn or abrasion to the intestinal wall. Herblax does encourage mild bowel movement to aid the body's natural processes. I heard several times a Dr. Walter Hodson speak from Pennsylvania, and he's a man who studied the way the body eliminates waste. And he used to say that all disease is deficient drainage. And pneumonia is nothing more than a backup of poison from the colon into the lungs. And I know as our grandchildren, if they caught cold easily or had any sign of a problem, one of the first things we did was to make sure that their body was cleansed, and we would increase the amount of herbs that they were using. It's interesting that Herblax is kosher certified. It is a food. In fact, most Shackley food supplements here are kosher certified. The label says to start out with 2 to 4 nightly. Now, I wouldn't suggest anyone to start out on 4. And in fact, I tend to feel that most people who are not using good nutrition and perhaps haven't had good elimination, your body is toxic, and so when you take nature's herbs into the body, it will tend to cleanse, and therefore I suggest that you start out on a half a tablet. You can always increase it to 1 or more. Now, for several years, I used 12 at night and 12 in the morning. Now I'm using 5 at night and 5 in the morning. That happens to be my level. That's what I enjoy. Some people only can use maybe 2 tablets, and some people only 1. You have to find out how your body reacts and how it feels. Most of the time, for a week or 2 after using Shackley Herblax, you will find you will have a lot of excretion from the colon area because the body is toxic. You breathe and eat and drink poison, and nature's herbs work at blood level to detoxify the cells, not just work in the colon area. I cannot overemphasize the benefit of herbs in your diet. You can put them in water and make tea out of them if you prefer using them that way. I know of adults and children who will chew them up. I don't care for the taste myself. There is licorice in it, and that helps. But whatever, use them, and I prefer using them at night and in the daytime, but at night your body is relaxed and resting, and therefore it works more as a colon cleanser than a type of a laxative. And of course it will depend on the types of food you eat during the day too. I mean, everything we do, lack of exercise can cause constipation. Drinking a lot of milk can cause constipation, or eating chocolate can cause constipation. So everything that we do in life affects the way the body eliminates waste. I believe this. If laxatives worked in America, why do we have colon disease? Did you ever think about it? Good question. Why do we have colon disease if laxatives really work? You need to feed the body properly. The next product I want to share with you, now the 3 products I've talked about are the basic products where I believe everyone needs to start. Then I will share with you how you know you have certain nutritional deficiencies and the benefit of that nutrition in your body. And the first one will be vitamin C. Vitamin C is a natural antibiotic, or it builds our defense system. Vitamin C builds the collagen, or that's kind of the glue substance that holds our cells together. Vitamin C is an aid in the healing process when you are injured or have sores. Problems with the mouth in particular, or mononucleosis and that type of thing, usually are related nutritionally to a vitamin C deficiency. Many things destroy vitamin C. I mean, you're using up vitamin C listening to me tonight, and I'm using up my vitamin C talking to you. So we are all under stress. There can be various types of stress, but nonetheless, just living in our society is stressful today. Stress and smoking increase the need for vitamin C. Bleeding gums is a deficiency of vitamin C, like I used to have. Bruising. People used to touch me and I would bruise very easily. I don't do that anymore, and it's exciting to see what nutrition can do for you. We have a chewable 100 milligram vitamin C that is absolutely delicious, and from children to the oldest person living, they can carry them with them. And tonight, before I started to speak, I chewed up 4 vitamin C. The reason is because I did have a cup of coffee tonight. Now, I'm not standing here telling you I eat only good food, okay? I'm normal, and I enjoy coffee on occasion, but coffee has caffeine in it, and caffeine destroys vitamin C. So I chewed some vitamin C. Also, if you, in that coffee I had some cream, and maybe you've never thought about it before, but milk or milk products cause phlegm in your throat. And I sing on occasion at church, and in a duet and with my pastor's wife, and sometimes she has a problem, and so I'll offer her vitamin C, but most often I just chew up 3 or 4 vitamin C before I sing, because it does clear the throat. There are many benefits of vitamin C. We also have what we call a sustained release vitamin C, which is like eating 1.5 oranges every hour for the next 5 hours. Now, I use both. I use a minimum amount. In fact, I only use 2 sustained release a day. Sometimes I don't even use that. I still feel that the chewable C is much more beneficial. Now, I swallow them also. I'll use 5 vitamin C in the morning and 5 before I go to bed at night. On occasion, I may chew some during the day, depending on the situation and whether I feel I need it. Alfalfa, as a nutritional supplement, is classified as better digestion. It's because alfalfa has a lot to do with the enzyme factor in the body. It's classified as the father of all foods. And the reason is because the alfalfa has a very deep root system, and it picks up trace minerals such as zinc and copper, chromium, and those things in the earth, in the soil, that we do not get in other foods. Alfalfa is a natural diuretic. Many people I know of use diuretics in a medicine form. Why not try nature's natural diuretic, whereby it will remove excessive fluid from your system? Also, many people benefit from allergy and arthritic conditions with the alfalfa. And the reason for that is because histamine is released in the body, or when it is released in the body, may stimulate an allergic reaction resulting in a stuffy nose, sneezing, and itching. The inflammation of joints may occur, and recent laboratory research indicates that a component of alfalfa may inhibit the release of histamine from the white blood cells. But until more human studies are done, there's no indication how much alfalfa it would take to get results. And as we talk about nutrition tonight, and perhaps I will mention some of the areas in your life that are a bit of a problem. I don't know how much you need, and you really don't know either. But the best thing to do is to start out on the nutrition program of Protein, Vitally, and Herblax, and then as you add these other products, you're going to get results, and you go by how you feel. You treat your own body. It's a lot of fun to treat your own body. And the minimum amount, or the MDR, or suggested usage of alfalfa is 10 tablets a day. Well, if a person has a problem, maybe they need more than that. I very often use 24 a day, 12 at night and 12 in the morning. By the way, I'm not a pill popper, but I am a tablet tipper. And there is a difference when we're talking about building health, that is. Also, alfalfa is a natural source of dietary fiber and chlorophyll. And as I shared with others, I have a friend of ours in Memphis, Tennessee, who has had a severe problem for many years, and he uses 70 alfalfa tablets every day of his life. He hasn't turned into a cow yet. You know, alfalfa, we were dairy farmers, so we fed our cows alfalfa, you know. No wonder animals thrive so well, because of the nutrition in the alfalfa plant. And then we have a product of B complex. Of course, we all know that B complex creates energy in our body. It's essential for healthy nerves, healthy skin, and eyes. B complex is needed when we're under stress, when we take medication, when we eat a lot of sugar or eat sugar. And of course, it also depletes, caffeine is depleted. It depletes B complex. You need B complex when you're eating or taking caffeine into your body, because caffeine destroys the B complex. Increased physical activity increases the need for B vitamins, and virtually no enzymatic reaction can take place in the body without the B vitamins. And many people can testify to the benefit of B complex. The interesting thing is, too, you can buy many types of B complex on the market, but all B vitamins occur together in nature, and so many products out there only have 1, 2, or 3 B vitamins, or they may just be a B12 or B6 as paradoxin. But that's not natural, and that's why people do not receive the benefit. When you're only feeding part of your cell or stimulating part of the cell, you do not get the full benefit that nature wants to give you. Lecithin is considered to be the fat emulsifier. It strengthens or softens aging skin, and it lowers cholesterol in the body. Lecithin was discovered in 1846, which is a natural substance found in all cell membranes and tissues of the human body. It comprises about 30% of brain matter. It is referred to as the brain food and is an essential part of the tissues of the liver, heart, spleen, ovaries, testicles, and thyroid. And the myelin sheath around the nerves, particularly in the head area, are coated with lecithin. Multiple sclerosis, MS, is a lecithin deficiency. It is a nutritional deficiency. And many people have received tremendous benefit. I have worked with a lot of people who have had migraine headaches. And once we can get the nutrition going back into their body and they take in additional lecithin, it's wonderful what will happen. But there is such a difference in the lecithin that Shaklee gives you, because everything, remember, you don't have to worry about it. It's in the balance of nature. It's quality. It will work. They will go to a health food store and buy another type of lecithin because it costs less money, but they do not get the same results. And I challenge you tonight, or others that you're in contact with, if they have used other products, just try Shaklee and see what the difference is. The result will prove the difference in their life. Then also, for continued specific needs, calcium is a wonderful food supplement. Calcium is considered to be a body builder. It is a major deficiency of Americans. Do you know that recent government studies have revealed that absorption rate of calcium varies considerably in our diets? And the older we get, the greater the need for calcium. Because in adults, 20% of bone calcium is resorbed or withdrawn from the bones and replaced every year. So every 5 years, all the bone calcium needs to be replaced in the body. The lack of calcium is known to cause osteoporosis and brittle bones. And calcium in your body and mind is also referred to as synovial fluid, or the liquid, or the lubrication between the joints and cells. When I couldn't move my arm years ago, and I had calcium formation here, it was dead calcium. What had happened was injury and stress depleted all of the lubrication calcium, synovial fluid, from my arm or from the joints, and then it started to withdraw from the bones. Then it becomes inflamed, and then it gets hard, and it continues, and over 5 years it developed a hard calcium deposit. What could I do? Well, they did have to remove the metal screw because I lost the use of the arm. It was rubbing on the nerves. They took the screw out. Then, years later, I turned to the field of nutrition. I have no calcium deposits today. I have a straight arm, and I can play golf, play racquetball, ride my bicycle, do about anything. I don't have quite the strength in the arm, because where you have a complete break like that, you will always have some limitation. But I wouldn't know that I'm limited. That's what has happened. Is I put the nutrition in my body. The body started to form its own synovial fluid or lubrication, so that you don't have that problem anymore. I use 24 Vitacal tablets a day, 12 at night and 12 in the morning. I used to have palpitations of the heart. I don't have that anymore, because, see, the heart is enveloped in a solution of calcium and magnesium. A steady heartbeat is a result of proper balance of calcium and minerals, particularly calcium. It's wonderful. It's wonderful what your body has the ability to do. It's just that we have to teach people that there is a better way to live while God allows us to be on this earth. It also relaxes the muscles. It helps insomnia. Calcium is one of the most important nutrients that you will ever use in your body. Now, we have other sources of calcium. In the beginning, I talked about eating at a restaurant and having to eat Tums for the tummy. Well, it's interesting that Tums for the tummy and Rolaids are a source of calcium. And so finally, Dr. Scala was able to work with the Food and Drug Administration, and we were able to finally come out with a product that was called Shaklee Relief. The Shaklee Relief is basically just a calcium tablet. But Shaklee Relief gives nearly double the stomach calming capability as any other product. Shaklee Relief neutralizes more than twice as much stomach acid as Rolaids and nearly twice as much as Tums on a tablet-to-tablet basis. Shaklee Relief comes in a box with of packets, 12 packets like this, and you have 4 cocoa-tasting, delicious calcium tablets. Now, when do you use them? When I've been telling you that, you eat protein and Vital E, you're going to balance out your body chemistry, and very often you don't have that indigestion problem. But there are times when I eat the wrong food, particularly if I eat Mexican food or, some Italian food that's very spicy, and if it bothers me a little bit, then I will chew on some calcium. But it's a wonderful, wonderful way to take calcium into your system and carry it in your pocket as a convenient product to use. And instead of having something that has sugar in it, use the Shaklee Cocoa Calcium Complex. Now, it comes in this form and called Shaklee Relief, or it comes in a bottle like this. It's the same product. This has a bottle of 90 chewable tablets, and of course it's less expensive this way. But of course, this is a very convenient way to use the product. And then we have a calcium complex, which is a rather large tablet. And if you prefer using that, you can. Dr. Scala, who now has taken Dr. Shaklee's place, has done a wonderful job in introducing some of these newer products to us. It isn't so much the source of calcium as whether it can be utilized in your body. And Shaklee's calcium is used very well in the body. There are a lot of, I used to use like bone meal. A lot of health food people are familiar with bone meal. But bone meal is not easily assimilated. And so it's the type of calcium that makes a difference as to whether you receive the benefit or not. Then we have a product of Iron Plus C. And Iron Plus C is related to a healthy bloodstream. And people who are anemic appreciate the benefit of an iron product. And Shaklee is the only company that's come out with a product that you can actually take in the vitamin C and iron together, and it remains and is used in the bloodstream. Shaklee uses only ferrous form of iron, and that simply means that it is a food type of iron. Most iron the company uses are synthetic. And again, synthetic substances are not nutrients for the body. And then zinc is a growth mineral. Zinc is involved with over 70 enzyme functions in the body. Now, alfalfa would have zinc in it because alfalfa has the trace minerals. I don't use zinc because I'm using alfalfa, therefore I don't have a need for it. And I'm not saying that you need every food supplement up here. You learn what you need and then choose the ones that you feel you're comfortable with and that you get the results with. But now for a young person who is in a strenuous exercise program or an athlete, they would probably enjoy taking zinc as an additional supplement because of perspiring so much. Research is investigating the role in stress, acne, arthritis, prostate problems, and insulin production. And of course, again, some of these things you can apply to the alfalfa tablet that I was talking about before. And then another favorite of mine is vitamin E. Vitamin E plus selenium is a very beneficial product. It helps the efficiency of the heart, or it allows the heart to have be able to function much easier, because vitamin E is the nutrient that supplies oxygen to your cells. In fact, all nutrients in the body need oxygen to carry them through. Vitamin E is the one that's important for doing that. Vitamin E reduces the need of the heart for oxygen by making the heart become a more efficient pump. Heart attack rates are as much as 300% higher in areas which are poor in selenium. And selenium is a trace mineral. Selenium in our society today is destroyed due to fertilization of the soil and insecticide sprays. And all of that is affecting the quality of nutrition. And they have found that we get practically no selenium today. All Shaklee E does have selenium, even though we have a chewable 100-unit tablet. It does not say selenium on there, but it does occur there because it's there by nature. But Shaklee has labeling laws they have to abide by. If it does not come up to a certain level or a certain percentage, it cannot be on the label. So FDA and FTC control labeling laws. And so what you see in Shaklee are the things that the government will allow. You know, for years, Dr. Shaklee told us, I wish I could put a label on alfalfa. I mean, we've been in business for 19 years, and I think we were in business at least 12 years or longer before there was a label on our alfalfa. It simply said alfalfa because the government would not allow them to put a listing. Now we have quite a good listing on what the value of alfalfa is. Vitamin E may slow down the aging process. That's why I use so much of it. Also, vitamin E is a natural scar tissue remover inside and out of the body. I'm sure I can stand here tonight and you can hardly see my scar from here to here. But when I got into Shaklee, that was about 1/8 of an inch wide. And it was just as clear to see. And I believe that it was only nutrition, and vitamin E had a lot to do with softening the skin so that the scar does not show. Adhesions will not form in the body after surgery if you have sufficient vitamin E. As far as how many to use, again, that's up to you. I know that vitamin E helps to build estrogen in the body. And I've gone through the menopause, but I hardly even knew it. And the reason is because, you see, it's a natural event in our life for both men and women. Women seem to be affected by it more than men, but I found as long as I used 10 400 IU vitamin E a day, I did not have any hot flashes. Today, I'm only using 3 a day. My body made the change, the nutrition took care of it, and now I don't need to use as much as I used to. It's kind of a lot of fun to find out that you can actually reduce the amount of some of your nutrition. And for additional products, we have a product called fiber wafers. Now, fiber, as you know, is very, very important in our diet because fiber also reduces constipation. Now, Shaklee fiber wafers are better than bran. A lot of people will say today, oh, I have a bowl of bran for breakfast, you know, so I get my fiber. Well, you're not getting as much as you think you are. But because Dr. Scala is one of the top 10 fiber experts in the country. The difference in Shaklee fiber is that our fiber product of 5 sources comes from corn, soy, prunes, carrots, gums, and pectins. And it contains the 5 kinds of fiber: cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, gums, and pectin. And you can't get that just in bran. So it is definitely much more beneficial. Evidence indicates that high fiber diets protect against rectal and colon cancer. Very interesting, again, when we talk about the body's way of eliminating waste. Rectal and colon cancer. If we can keep the body clean, we have better health. A few years ago, we met and talked with a Dr. Gerald Headley, who is a doctor of internal medicine from Connecticut. And he did a workshop on the colon area and was telling the benefit of making sure that you have no pressure on the intestinal wall. And I can think back of when our sons were infants, and I used to use suppositories because of constipation. And I'm sure there are millions of infants out there today that are in that category. But Dr. Headley said, you do not want the least bit of pressure on the intestinal wall, the large or the small intestine. And he suggests that everyone use herbs in their diet every day. And again, one of the most important things you can do is to keep your body clean. Keep helping. You know, you can't be healthy in this society today without helping yourself. It's impossible because of pollution alone. EPA is a major medical breakthrough. EPA reduces the risk of heart attacks and stroke by reducing the viscosity of the blood, platelet adhesiveness, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and the triglycerides. Now, cholesterol forms in the body because of fat. Triglycerides are formed in the body because of sugars. And you heard me say earlier that research has been done that you can produce a diabetic on a high-fat diet quicker than you can on a high-sugar diet. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, that they should just go ahead and eat a lot of sugar. But, you see, there's nothing wrong with sugar as God gave it to us, as sugar cane. But it's when man takes the food that God gives us and alters it and makes other things out of it and add other chemicals to it that make it harmful to the body. Refined sugar, they use two chemicals that are very harmful in the refining process. Refined sugar does not allow the body to break down into the simple sugars whereby the body can make use of it. And even a diabetic will never be healthy unless you take in a certain amount of natural fructose and glucose. And there is no problem in using Shaklee protein, even as a diabetic, even though it has some natural fructose and glucose, because you must have it in the amount the body needs in order to build health. Now, on EPA, the platelets in the blood are very small and they look like plates. That's why they call platelet adhesiveness. And EPA is very beneficial in reducing the platelet adhesiveness. And it's because when there is interference or obstruction by cholesterol or sugar, the platelets stick together or form a clot. EPA is from fish. They actually come from the cold water fish, such as salmon and mackerel. And most people are not eating enough fish today, plus the fact that most fish is very polluted today. Shaklee imports the EPA from Japan. The cold water fish feed on plankton in the ocean. The cold, deep fish, and it's the vegetables that grow in the bottom of the ocean, and you'll see it sticking up through the water sometimes. It's called plankton. It's interesting that fish do not convert that, so the EPA is actually a vegetable. It's still a vegetable because it is not converted. Now, it is in a capsule form, and a capsule, of course, comes from an animal substance. It is gelatin. But the ingredients of EPA or our lecithin or vitamin E in a capsule are complete vegetable products. EPA is actually a natural marine lipid concentrate of 2 amino acids. 3 capsules contain about the same amount of EPA as found in 2 to 3 ounces of fatty fish. Our diet does not consist of enough EPA today. It's tremendous, the results that have come about due to the studies of EPA. It's not a new it's not a new scientific breakthrough, really, because science has known about it for many, many, many years. There are evidences in medical records that went back to years ago. It's just that it hasn't been approved by the FDA and FTC, and they're working at it, the same as with beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is noted to be a possible cancer prevention product. A 5-year study has been done to find out the extent of how much beta-carotene works, not whether it does work. They know that it works. And what is it? It's a nutrient, or a combination of nutrients. What is cancer? It's a cell disease. Well, if you feed the body nutritionally, and you can keep your cells healthy, and your body can build its own antibodies, disease cannot take over. It's that simple. It is so simple that it's hard to get people to understand that by changing your diet and adding food supplements, you can allow your body to rebuild itself and to give you the health and strength. And young people need supplementation more than ever today. I often think, where in our society today does a newborn infant get good nutrition when perhaps the mother is already nutritionally deficient and can't even supply the nutrition? Years ago, I've done speaking engagements with people of La Leche League. I have spoke here in New Jersey to a group who were involved in the hyperactive child. Hyperactivity wasn't in the vocabulary when I raised our 3 sons, but it is today. Why? Because of the diet, the refined foods, the sugars, the caffeine, the sodium nitrates and nitrites and cyclamates and everything else in our system. Those are substances that God never intended we take into the body. It's no wonder children become hyper, and now mom and dad are hyper. You know, it's a shame. But beta-carotene is a precursor of vitamin A. It converts the part of beta-carotene into vitamin A. And it's exciting, the results that have been done with beta-carotene. And then another product that is a favorite of mine and one of Dr. Shackley's original product, and it's called Liquid Li. It's a multiple vitamin plus iron product with biotin and B12. It is more effective than the major nationally advertised liquid products on the market and half the daily cost. And it gives quick energy and forms healthy red cells. I can remember when Dr. Shackley said, if you people knew the benefit of this product, you would all use it. A lot of people don't use it because it's liquid form and it does have an iron taste. However, children don't have a problem with it at all. It's the adults that have the problem with the taste. But he said that in 17 minutes, this gets into the body and is working in the liver and increases the amount of vitamin A. Beta-carotene is a nutrient which occurs in carrots. Health food people years ago used to encourage people to drink raw carrot juice, and it's good for you. But you know, a cooked carrot has more beta-carotene in it than a raw carrot. Isn't that interesting? I just happened to read that back a year or so ago and thought that was very, very interesting. And I thought of Liquid Li. Before beta-carotene, this product was producing vitamin A in the liver. In working with it, you know, pregnant women, particularly in early pregnancy, have a lot of morning sickness. B vitamins are used up very quickly, and iron in their blood. And it's amazing. The people who have used this product every day find that it will actually control the nauseous problem. Or when other people perhaps take drugs or treatment, use this product, and it's wonderful because it starts to build the red cells, and medication destroys the B vitamins and the iron in the blood. The life is in the blood, spiritually and physically speaking. Where you have a healthy bloodstream, you will have a healthy body. And quickly, to finish here, Shaklee does everything well. And to complete your diet, we do have meal replacement products. A Slim Plan drink mix, 2 flavors of cocoa and vanilla, a product that is very natural and biologically complete, clinically tested. This product was tested at Scripps Institute in Washington, Georgetown University in Washington and Scripps Institute in California. The men and women who use this product over several week time did not know what they were using, but it was exciting to hear the testimonies that when they got through, not only did they lose weight, but they felt better, and they wanted to use the product. It is a wonderful meal supplement and an excellent diet program. If you want to lose 5 pounds quickly, 5 to 7 pounds, you can use it 3 times a day. 3 packages, and this you mix in water. It does have a dry milk base, and it's best in water. If you put it in milk, it's just too thick. And if you want to lose more than that, then use it as a meal substitute and alternate, and maybe have it 3 days a week and for your meals, or eat 2 meals a day of this and 1 day with other food. The Slim Plan soup mix is delicious, the chicken soup, for variety, and also something that you can have hot. And then we have the Shaklee meal shakes, and the meal shakes are really good. I said before that things that are good for us usually don't taste good, but this really does. And you do use the meal shake in the low-fat milk in an 8-ounce glass, and it will only give you 230 calories. So it is an excellent way to substitute some of the meals that you're eating. But don't mistake these 2 products for instant protein, okay? If you really want the energy, add some protein to these products. They just do not give that energy level that Shaklee protein has. And I don't know how better to explain it than just to say to try it. Even our children, grandchildren are using, they like the meal shake, but we always add some instant protein so that they make sure that they're getting all the protein that they need. And then as a snack bar, we have energy bars, peanut butter and cocoa crunch, and they're excellent. The cocoa crunch is not cocoa as you think of chocolate. They actually remove the caffeine from the cocoa so that it is not a harmful chocolate on the energy bar. This one happens to be peanut butter, and the other would be Cocoa Crunch, is a crunchy flavor. But these are not just a candy bar. They are a food bar. And many people use this as a meal substitute. And I find that if I eat there are 2 sections in here. If I eat 1/2 section, that's enough for me. And so you can use them when you travel, use them when you're perhaps too busy to be able to fix a meal, when you're playing golf or doing other things that are entertaining, and yet you need protein for energy. This does have the same type of protein that our instant protein does have in the can of protein. And I will close with that, and just to say to you that it's been a real blessing to be here tonight, and a great blessing for us to know Dr. Shaklee and to have been with him many times throughout the country. And I'd like to tell you that he was born in 1895. He had consumption, which is TB, and they did not expect him to live but a few years. But his mother moved to Carlisle, Iowa, where they turned to nature's way of growing their foods, and she raised herbs and fruits and vegetables for him. He completely restored his health, and he used to always give the credit to nature, to God who restored the health back in his body. Later on, he became an X-ray technician. He burned his arm and leg so bad that they wanted to amputate it, but he refused to do that. Again, he turned to nutrition and exercise, and just in 1985, he passed away, went home to be with the Lord after living a very fruitful, healthy life. And I admired that man. I wrote him a letter about less than a year before he passed away, and it was wonderful to get a letter back and say, yes, I do remember who you are, because we used to be with him a lot of times. And I'm grateful for Dr. Shaklee, for the philosophy that he left for the company, for the products that he gave. And I know in that letter I said to him, Dr. Shackley, we have enjoyed health, first of all in my own life, because I was sick of being sick and taking medication. And his products, his dedication, returned to me something that money could never buy. And not only for myself, but for my husband and our 3 sons and their wives and our 3 grandchildren. And you know, that's your choice here tonight. And you can choose to be healthy or sick depending on what you do with the body that God entrusted to you. And you know, we used to buy life insurance, but now we buy death insurance. And our life is the investment that we put into it through the use of food supplements, that we might be a blessing to one another on this earth. To be healthy will take some discipline. And you'll never be healthy unless you have some discipline. And it is not easy, and it has not been easy for me to every day for the past 19 years go to the kitchen and have a delightful glass of Shackley instant protein. I would much rather have eggs and bacon. Sometimes I have breakfast, and I use that as a substitute for my lunch. And though I don't always enjoy it, I love the results. I don't enjoy a handful of tablets. And I have to keep looking at them and thinking, oh, that's the steak and the tossed salad and the eggs and the other things. But the results are unbelievable. And our food bill has decreased because of Shackley nutritional supplements. And if you daily will use Shackley instant protein, you will find that it is very filling, and it should substitute at least 1 meal a day. And I'm very grateful to be here tonight, and so thankful that you're here, and I trust that you will have received a blessing and have learned some things to at least challenge you to go home and think about your own life, and only you can take care of your own body. No one else can. The Lord bless you.
Thelma, could you just stay up there? I appreciate it. Maybe we have time for 15 or 20 minutes of questions and answers, if you wouldn't mind answering some questions. I would like to say that we made cassette tapes of this meeting tonight, and those will be available if any of you want them, even right after the meeting. We can make them in 5 minutes. That's all it takes. We'll have them labeled. Everything's all finished. Normally they're $4 a tape, but 50% off tonight. Just $2 a tape, just practically cost plus a little bit for making them. And the same is true of our VCR, video cassette recordings. Normally they're $20 per cassette. It'd be 2 hours in length, 50%, which is only $10 for those that are here tonight, if you would like one, and those are available as well. But Thelma, they have some questions. Barbara has one right there.
I was going to ask what the difference is between
and would you repeat the question,
capsule and lecithin granules. In the health food store, they told me that the granules were better than the capsule.
Okay, the question was, what is the difference between lecithin in the granules or in the capsule? And of course, she was advised that the granules were better.
Granules,
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that I can give you a correct answer on it. I think many times, unless you really look into the company who makes it, you don't even know what it's really made from and how it's processed, and that's the key factor. I don't think it's a question as to whether it's in granules or in liquid. I think the question is the result of the product, and so all I can tell you is, you know, you'd have to, there's certainly nothing wrong with the Shackley lecithin that we have, and many, many people have used it and been very, very pleased with it.
Well, now the person, the clerk at the health food store, said that the granules were, you take a full rounded tablespoon every morning on your cereal, that you get more than you would in 25, 30 capsules.
Well, that could be very true depending on the capsule. So yes, the question was you could take how much?
She said it was equivalent to about 24 capsules. I mean, you take one.
A rounded tablespoon of granules would be equivalent to about 24 capsules. So it could very well be in the type of capsules that they have. And again, I really couldn't give you that answer. I just know that Shackley is the best and it does work. And if you have something that's quality, you don't need nearly as much either. But it has a lot to do with the raw material to begin with and the processing method.
All right.
Any other?
Other questions?
Yes, excuse me.
Paul Agostinelli.
My name is Paul Agostinelli, and what I want to know is Shaklee by chance help to reduce high cholesterol?
Okay, the question was, does Shaklee help to reduce high cholesterol? Well, actually, no. The body does that through the use of nutritional supplements. And so Shaklee food supplements are known because of nutritionists who have studied the way that the body has cholesterol, and they know that there are certain deficiencies. And so Shaklee does, yes, give you a product or products such as EPA and lecithin, which are known to be fat emulsifiers in the body. But it's really you putting the nutrition in and then your own body taking care of the cholesterol.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mother.
What two products would you recommend to young children, like 9 and 7 years old?
Okay, the question was, what products would I recommend for children who were 9 and 7 years old? Definitely instant protein at 3 tablespoons a day. And you could use either the chewable Vital E or the regular swallowable ones, and 2 of those each a day. And I feel because children eat worse food than we do because we're not in control of them, and they're definitely taking in candy, that most of them need some herbs. And some of our grandchildren, Stephen, who at the age of 3 was using 2 herb tablets a night. So that's something you have to work with. And the other thing is because of being susceptible to colds, because of being around with people, germs, and so forth, I think vitamin C is an additional supplement that most people need. And they can chew those and, 2 or 3 a day or more. Calcium, because children are growing. And they use up more nutrition in their growth years, particularly when they get up near their teens, when they're having so many glandular changes. But calcium is very definitely, particularly, people used to talk about children having growing pains. Growing pains were really nutritional deficiencies. The muscles and tendons in the body weren't getting enough calcium and other nutrients. So I'd say, 2 or 3 chewable tablets a day or more. And then you could add anything else, but I think that's a good place to start.
Other, yes,
I
Jackie.
want to know about the calcium, because I've heard that calcium does not work as well unless it is combined with D, vitamin D.
Yes, well, Shaklee calcium, everything is in it that it needs. Oh, I'm sorry, the question. She said that calcium does not work in the body unless it has vitamin D in it. And that's true. And so Shaklee calcium does have vitamin D in it, and in fact the VitaCal has the phosphorus and vitamin D to make sure that it is assimilated, but all of our calcium is very easily assimilated. The nutrients are there that are needed by the body.
Yes, because I've used Oscal and then another, I forget the name of the other calcium product, was told by my doctor to take calcium, but I found that it upset my stomach, something terrible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, because it basically is a synthetic product. You see, it's made from inorganic substances, so it's not really feeding.
Oscal is like an oyster shell.
Right, but again, it's the source and it's the way that it's made. And I'm sure that it's not a live enzyme product. And it's you've got to have the balance of nature. That's what makes Shaklee so wonderful, is you could use the Shaklee VitaCal, a child could use it, I can use it, and we all receive benefit. All I can say is the best thing is for you to try Shaklee and see what the results are.
John, I think you had a question.
Yes.
2 questions. Well, a statement and a question about calcium. That's why A and D is in milk. That's why they put that to it, so calcium. Magnesium also helps. The point is, when you had your calcium deposit in your arm, my cousin did experience some problems with that. What did you use for that? Minerals, alfalfa?
Well, he wanted to know about the calcium deposit that I had in my arm, what I used, that the body was able to eliminate that. Well, basically it was a little bit of everything. It was protein and Vital E and the herbs. I did use a lot of VitaCal to get the extra calcium that the body had already used up. I also used a lot of alfalfa, and the reason for that is alfalfa has a natural cortisone, So when there was pain and discomfort like I had, that was very beneficial for that. So calcium and alfalfa and vitamin C, because vitamin C is in the collagen in the body. And so those three products in particular I used more of along with my regular supplements.
Is there any way that you know of, from your knowledge of that calcium deposits have decreased or can be decreased by diet as far as the system? You mean if you have it already, can it be decreased? Can it be treated? Your own experience. So.
Right, definitely. As from my own experience, it has. The question was, if you already have calcium formation, can your diet actually allow the body to eliminate that? And yes, it can, because it did it in my own life. And again, it's because the body has the ability nutritionally to rebuild cells and to rebuild the vital organs and to replace the synovial fluid in the body. And definitely, we are what we eat.
Mr. Arson, I believe you had a question.
Yes, what do you recommend to strengthen the optic nerve damaged by glaucoma?
Well, the question was what would be used to strengthen the optic nerve due to glaucoma. Well, I'm not sure that I can answer that. I can tell you what the deficiencies are, and usually it's vitamin C. And it went back to years ago, and all-around nutrition will benefit your health, generally speaking, as far as using protein, vitamin E, and so forth. But I would certainly add some vitamin C to my diet. Vitamin C is not stored in the body except for one place, and that's in the pupil of the eye. Night blindness usually starts in a person when they do not have sufficient vitamin C, nutritionally speaking. So vitamin C is extremely, extremely important. All nutrients are important where there is any problem in the body, but that is one area that I would work with.
Any others? Oh, Paul, did you have another question, Paul? Okay, anyone? No. Okay, anyone else? Question? Yes, Jackie?
Yes, I had heard that selenium at one time was found to have an excess of lead in it. Have you had any experience with that?
The question was that she found that selenium at one time had an excess of lead in it. That I really wouldn't know. It would probably depend on the source that it came from. And now with Shackley, you see, they grow their foods organically on good soil. And it's free of insecticide sprays and so forth. So you don't have the inorganic things that are affecting the soil. And it's probably very possible that our foods or selenium could have lead in it. But if it's good food, it makes a difference versus food that's not quality.
Yes, Brother Valiente.
How many pills you take like in the morning and how you take them? Second, what sort of foods do you eat other than your supplements?
Okay, the question was how many pills, I call them tablets, that's all right, do I take in the morning, and what other foods do I eat? Well, I take a lot of food supplements for my size, and that's because I had quite a few problems. I will tell you what I normally take. I start the day with about 4 tablespoons of protein in a glass of water, only about this much water, 4 ounces of water, and I drink it to get it down quick. And then I take my supplements, usually with water, and I always have, now I'm using at least 5 Herblax a day, 12 of VitaCal supplements, 3 400 IU vitamin E tablets, 5 of the chewable vitamin C, 2 or 3 Vital E. Some days, if I've not had a lot of rest, I might increase my Vital E to 3 rather than 2 a day. Alfalfa, can I mention that? Okay, usually anywhere from 6 to 12 alfalfa, depending again on my schedule. Lecithin, I use 6 of those in the morning. And,
Zinc, how much do you take?
okay, I don't use zinc because I use sufficient alfalfa. That's about what I take in the morning. That's all. Then during the day, I might chew up some vitamin C depending on my schedule. And I might also chew some of the calcium, just because I like it, of the calcium complex. No, in the morning, that's all I have. I sometimes have a cup. I do have my cup of coffee in the morning, and I swallow my supplements now mostly with just a glass of water. I find that I don't drink enough water, and that's another health problem that people have. And then through the week, what I really like to have is at lunch, we have our biggest meal at lunchtime if I'm home. And I love vegetables and fruits, basically, and I don't eat hardly any beef at all. Chicken and turkey, mostly, and a lot of fish. Other than that, it's, salads and cooked vegetables, like broccoli and all those good things. Right. Yes, in fact, I steam all of our vegetables when we cook them. And I usually use frozen foods rather than the canned because there's more nutrients there. Then in the evening, for the evening meal, then we basically have a very light meal of more vegetables or a salad. And I love breads, but I try to stay away from them. If I do, we eat whole grain breads that have a little bit of nutrition in. We try to stay away from sweet things. However, I have a sweet tooth too, and I do like ice cream, but we try to stay away from it. Then before I go to bed at night, I use 5 more herb lacs or more, depending on what I eat and so forth. And I do use 12 additional calcium, because calcium is a natural tranquilizer. And like when I go home, leave this meeting tonight, my mind is all wound up. You cannot just lie down and go to sleep. But if I take my 12 calcium, in a few minutes I am sleeping. It is a natural tranquilizer, and it doesn't hurt you because it's natural. I also use the additional alfalfa, anywhere from 5 to 12 of those. And I use 6 more lecithin in the evening. I only use the products at night that are relaxing, okay? Such as alfalfa, calcium, lecithin, and the vitamin C. The rest I use because the other nutrients give you energy.
Vitamin C is relaxed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you could call it, but it's just it's a stress nutrient, and if you're under stress, that's probably why. Yeah.
Thelma, a lot of times people say that the Shaklee vitamins, though they're quality products, are too costly, they can't afford it, etc. How would you answer that, as far as the value and the health that they produce versus the cost?
Yeah. Well, if you were to compare Shaklee with a quality product, you will find that Shaklee is less expensive. You cannot compare Shaklee to the GNC store. They are not the quality product. You would have to compare Shaklee with a quality food product that's perhaps in a direct selling method. I can't offhand give you brand names, but the thing of it is the cost, the factor, when the result is not there. I mean, I think on some of the literature you'll have, it will compare a Theragram M compared to Shaklee. There's no comparison. Theragram M has artificial colors and other stuff in it. You're not really feeding the body. So I think the expense is, where do you put the value of money on your health?
The results, in other words.
That's right.
And one other question, Thelma. If someone here were to want any of these products, they have your telephone number and so on. What happens? Can they call you or can they write you? And if so, do you mail these? And if so, how much is the cost of postage that they have to pay and so on?
Okay, we don't... in Shaklee, you can become a member, have a membership for $6, and that gives you the right to buy all of the Shaklee products at the member price, or at wholesale price, actually. We do not charge for shipping, and we send all over the country, from California to Florida. And we appreciate it if you buy more than one bottle of Herblax. And we try to have people, consolidate their order a little bit. Yes, you can order directly from us. You can talk with Dr. Waite or Vonnie, and they know quite a bit about Shaklee since they have been using the products. And they regularly call us, and you can either work through him or you can order directly from us. And to fill out a member application is very simple. You just fill out your name and address, social security number. It does not obligate you to buy anything or to sell anything. It simply gives you the right to use the products. And I haven't even talked about all these other products that are completely organic and natural and will actually save you time and money. But you can call me at any time to talk with me, to answer questions, or I'm sure Dr. Waite has quite a knowledge of Shaklee.
Paul, did you have another question there?
Yes, excuse me. Is this, what you're saying about these memberships, is this an annual membership now?
Yes, it is. No, not an annual. This is a lifetime membership. The question was, is the $6 an annual membership? No, it's a lifetime membership. In all the years we've been in Shaklee, we've never had to pay a yearly fee.
I think Mr. Lyle had a question.
I'm curious as to why you want to know the social security number.
Oh, simply because of computers.
Yeah, well, I don't want my social security number in your computer.
Oh, well.
I mean, what interest does your computer have in my social security number?
I don't understand that. That's something that society uses, social security numbers. I don't know whether they have to use numbers or...
There's no obligation, is there?
There's no obligation, no.
No, I think if you left it off, I think that would be correct.
I'm just curious why you're asking for it at all.
We're only asking for it because that's what Shaklee requires as a member. And when we want to find out if someone is a member, we can just call in and give you a social security number, and then they can say maybe at one time they were using the products and they are no longer in our files. But it's not used, just a number that obviously...
Identification.
Yes, identification.
All right, are there any other questions? We have about 8 more minutes of tape on our VCR, and we don't want to overshoot, but if you have some questions, please. Yes. Jim.
I've read numerous articles about degeneration, what you were talking about, and I'm in agreement with what that was talking about as far as diseases. It's starting to come out as truth now. Many people were been talking about years ago, but now it's actually coming out of the truth. People are actually realizing the many diseases that people have is caused by degeneration of the body.
Right.
Especially the cereals. Was one man that was talking. He's an actor, and he was talking about the many cereals that were all bad.
Yes.
All of them. All additive chemicals, everything else, and they promote that into the youth.
Right. The gentleman was stating how degenerative diseases are more and more out in the open as far as people realizing it, and comment about cereals. And just to add to that, at home I have a bottle of the enrichment of iron from the Pyron Company in Niagara Falls, New York. And if I had it here with me, I could sprinkle, it's a black powder, very fine as baby powder. I could sprinkle it on this sheet of paper and take a magnet, and it would follow it all around the paper, because the enrichment of iron in cereals is nothing more than iron scrapings. And that's what you and I and our children eat in many cereals that we eat today. God never intended that. The body cannot break down synthetic iron. Now, ferrous iron occurs like in oranges, apples, many of our fruits and vegetables. And that type of iron the body needs to build and strengthen the bloodstream. But it cannot. And that's one thing that interferes with our health and the cell process of rebuilding.
Any other questions? We have just 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes.
Jackie? And then Paul.
Yeah. The Slim Plan drink mix. Now, is that a milk base?
That is a dry milk base. The question was, is the Slim Plan a milk base? And yes, it is. It's a dry milk base. It is a quality type of milk.
Well, I'm allergic to
And if people have a tolerance to milk, then I would suggest you use protein. Mm-hmm. And you can use that in, there's no milk. Now they use the calcium labeling on the protein for the calcium, they have to use as in a reference to milk, because that's how the government relates the value of calcium in a product. They relate it to milk, but it's simply a relationship to the calcium value in that product. There is no milk in our instant protein.
Paul, did you have a question?
Yes, sir. What, may I ask, are those two sample products in this bag of the literature that
okay.
you just handed out?
All right, the two sample products that I gave you when you came in tonight.
And if somebody didn't get them, we can get them to you. Yeah.
Are a package of our Shaklee meal shake, and that's only half the size. Normally you would use 3 scoops, and in our meal shake there is a scoop in here, and you would use 3 scoops in 8 ounces of water. The packet that I gave you only use not water, milk. And you use either whole milk or the 2% or whatever, non-fat milk, and you use only 4 ounces of milk to that, okay, because that's only half of a serving that you have. But we just wanted you to be able to taste the difference, and we have Bavarian cocoa and the French vanilla.
Yes, Mrs.
Are
Robertson.
all these things indexed in this?
Yes, you'll have information. The question was what I've been talking about.
I mean, all that you have there.
Yes.
They're all described in this literature?
Maybe not all of them, but some of them. And the question was, are all of the things that I've been talking tonight in the packet that you have, the literature?
In other words, if I wanted to order, I just look in this.
Right. You do have an order form in there.
Okay.
And you can contact Dr. Waite.
There's a complete catalog also, isn't it?
There is not a complete catalog. If you wish to have a complete catalog, I think I have some over here. If I have enough, just feel free to take one of them. Usually, and that will show you all of the products. That's right.
In the catalog, she means to take a catalog.
But in the catalog, I think they're over here on this sofa.
I have trouble swallowing an aspirin.
Oh. I wanted to continue. He asked me, the other sample that I gave them is a little bottle, a blue bottle of liquid that is called Basic H, or Basic Household Cleaner. And that is an organic cleaning product. And we bathe in it, we take a bath in it, we wash our car in it. We just do everything with Basic H. It is a completely safe cleaner, the best cleaner that you have ever tried in your life. It's very economical. We use 4 drops of that in 16 ounces of water to wash windows. And you do have literature that will explain to you all the things you can do with Basic H. And that's what that is. If you want to take a bath with it, put about half of that bottle in your bathtub, and you won't have any bathtub ring. Saves a lot of work. I like Shaklee cleaning products because I don't have time to clean house.
All right, we certainly want, if you have extra
You're
questions,
welcome.
I'm sure Thelma will be glad to stay. We do appreciate you coming, Thelma. She came all the way from New York, Binghamton, New York, with no pay or charges or anything, just because she wanted to come, and we asked her to come, and we wanted you to hear something about nutrition. And we appreciate so much your coming, Thelma. And
Thank you.
God bless you. And if you have other questions, please let her know.
Thank you very much.
All right, our meeting is dismissed.